Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, I will show you how to customize the React Dialog's appearance using template property. Look at this example, where you can see a message dialog with its header, content, and footer customized. I will show you how to achieve this customization at the code level. First, I open an existing React Dialog application, where I have already configured the React Dialog with the customized height and width. In case you want to know how to add a dialog component to a React application, I have linked the Getting Started video in the above YouTube card and the description below. I have defined a few CSS styles in the app CSS file: display, height, margin, overflow, and width. I run this application using the npm start command. The React Dialog component renders with the defined height and width. Next, I am going to show you how to place Syncfusion logo and close icon button in the header. To do that, I define new method, header of type JSX element, which returns a template string or HTML element. Inside this function, I add the division element with image tag, as I am going to show the Syncfusion logo in the header. Here, I will set the class name eTemplateImage. Then, I add the source path for the image using the source attribute. To set the header content, let me add the span tag with the ID, template, and class name as eIconSettings. Here, I set the header content as Syncfusion. After that, I assign this function to the header property of the dialog component. I also plan to display close icon in the header. So, add the show close icon property and set its value to true. Within this app CSS file, let me add CSS styles like vertical align, display, width, height, padding, background color, position, and so on for the dialog header. Looking at the dialog now, you can see the Syncfusion's logo and the header content as Syncfusion and the close icon in the dialog. Following this, I will show you how to add content to the dialog component. First, I define a method, content, of type JSX element, which returns a template string or HTML element. And add the division element with the class name dialog content. Inside this division element, I add the span element and add the class name with the value dialog text. After that, I set the appropriate content for the dialog. I assign this function to the content property of the dialog component. Then, I have defined a few CSS styles in the app CSS file: font size, padding, word wrap, border radius, text align, font style, and display. See the dialog now, the content is added here. Finally, I will show you how to add the footer and customize it. I want to add a text box and subscribe button to my footer. To add a text box, first, I need to install the input package using the command npm install at syncfusion/ej2 react inputs-save. After that, I create the footer template function of type JSX element. In this function, I define a division element and add the input tag with the ID text box. I also set class name as eInput. As you know, I am going to use input as text, so define type property with the value text and the placeholder property to enter the email ID. Then, let me add a button component and set the button content to subscribe. Set the ID as subscribe button and class name to eButtonInfo to add the styles for the button. I assign this function to the footer template property of the dialog component. I then define a few CSS styles in the app CSS file, float, width, top, position, and padding, and import the input material theme. Now, look at the dialog displayed with the footer. You can see the input field to enter the email address and the subscribe button to subscribe the newsletter. In this video, you have seen how to customize the React Dialog component's appearance using template properties. If you would like to see this working example, you can download it from the GitHub link in the description below. You can also get a free license key to use our complete React suite if you fit our community guidelines. So, check out the link in the description to see if you are eligible for our community license. Thanks for watching.